Gaby? What are you doing? We all thought you died.
Just checking my Twitter.
Why? That's boring.
Well, if you followed me, you'd know.
Just tell me it's Pokemon stuff.
No, just watching people eat weird squirting animals in China. Take a look.
Just a disclaimer, this video was written before the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah, what is that?
It's called a geoduck.
No, this is a Geoduck.
How did you get in here again?
I copied your key and I can't stop looking anymore. So anyway, you know that disturbing Pokemon Sword and Shield thing you usually do? Well, Pokemon Sword and Shield is out.
Any bodily fluids drained?
No.
Not interested then.
Alright, but I'm telling you, they get really high in this one.
Well, they do work pretty long hours.
No, really, look.
Those magic mushrooms. Guess I gotta report this to the police.
Oh, so you're doing it?
Hello there, this guy broke into my flat and now he won't leave.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's like average height. Bit of a monobrow. Looks a bit like a young Pablo Escobar.
Well, that's just rude.
Five rounds? Trying to stay relevant, are we? Maybe. Just don't want the tumbleweeds to cry over my suspected death. Or just trying to create a new Star Wars saga. So it's time to come back with an absolute bang. No more dilly-dallying around. No more live streams to procrastinate. Just joking. I'm gonna pretend this video is like a 9-year almost anniversary. Just to make it almost special. We'll see how it takes off from that. But as usual, new generation, new disturbances in the Force. I've already made a Star Wars reference. I don't need this shit. So it's time to kick back, relax, and see if any Pokemon possesses a doll, or a child, or a can of dark fruits, because they're anti-lads. We're gonna go with the theme of not just including new Pokemon, but adding everything that we've known from day one, and just merging them into the new Pokedex entries, so you've got a bit of a refresher of what you learned beforehand, and now you can be up to date. And with that said, let's just get right into it. Top 20 disturbing Pokemon. Let's go. Normally, the Pokedex entries just showcase the smart tactics these Pokemon take up to use the certain quirks of their bodies to their advantage to catch prey, but I'm not the kind of person to say, ugh, this Pokemon eats. Gross. But when you reveal the form known as
Nice
base, the truth about its hair becomes more apparent. The hair on the head connects to the surface of its brain. When this Pokemon has something on its mind, its hair chills the air around it. Figurative light bulb on his head. The ice covering this Pokemon's face is shattered, revealing a slightly worried expression that many people are enamored with. I don't know, maybe because it's worried that somebody is going to literally pick its brain. Like, would I want my heart to be in the heel of my foot? Trick question, I don't have a heart. Flick it! Petwar or Bimtheg? So I had to pick Bounsweet off a tree last time for being susceptible to the condition of being eaten alive by birds. But then you get to Sarina, and you pretty much get a kickboxing hyena.
Its long, striking legs aren't just for show, but to be used to kick with skill. In victory, it shows off by kicking the defeated, laughing boisterously.
See, this alone didn't really warrant a spot on my last video, so I'm pretty glad that there is more fire to my ammunition.
This feared Pokemon has long, slender legs and a cruel heart. It shows no mercy as it stomps on its opponents.
You know, just finishing off the last little bit of sanity I have left.
A kick from the hardened tips of this Pokemon's legs leaves a wound in the opponent's body and soul that will never heal.
An out-of-body experience that even the Gardevoir fans will turn to in awe. Knowing that this Pokemon beats you up because it's funny, and go into such lengths as to damage your very soul so that you never forget. Yeah, have fun getting the right therapy for that. Just be happy will be what the millionaire gurus will tell you. I just woke up one day and said enough is enough. Yeah, I'll let you know when that randomly happens to me.
Dana!
Ever wanted a way to get nice stripes out of your barbecue meat? Look no further. Your abs prey up with its heated body, cooking them in its coils. Once they're well done, it will voraciously nibble them down to the last morsel. Or morsel. Sorry, I'm not good with pronunciations. I mean, I'm usually against burning prey alive, whether it's lobsters or whatever. Well, I guess it has to do what it needs to do to survive. argue with that, really. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna stare from the sidelines in utter disgust. Die Arbimthek! So we got Drifloon and Drifblim in a pretty hefty competition to see who exactly can be creepier.
Some say this Pokemon is a collection of souls burdened with regrets, silently drifting through the dusk.
I mean, I would just take the scenic route with a bindle, but that's just me.
It grabs people and Pokemon and carries them off somewhere. Where do they go? Nobody knows.
It seems to be heading to that volcano over there. Well, damn. Just that sword entry alone placing some motive in the lore to make it seem like it's trying to fill some sort of void. It's kind of sad, really. Wait, what am I doing? Don't pity it! It's abduction, and illegal if it was a human being. Strike him down, Arceus! Inarbimthek! So excusing the fact that this resembles the heavy amount of fly tipping that occurred in my last flat, which I was blamed for and made to pay for because I happened to be moving out that day, fuck you Penrise.
Due to Gigantamax energy, this Pokemon's toxic gas has become much thicker, congealing into masses shaped like discarded toys.
So this is Toy Story if Satan directed it.
It sprays toxic gas from his mouth and fingers. If the gas engulfs you, the toxins will seep in all the way down to your bones.
Well, this is a game not even Jigsaw wants to make you play. This is like standing directly into a reactor that's just had a meltdown. Chernobyl was great, by the way, I highly recommend it. And I also just blew up a reactor in Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're shameless plugs because I feel no shame. So I don't recommend standing anywhere near this Pokemon, otherwise that restraining order you're holding, that'll decompose in your fingertips. Himthig! Not gonna lie, all the fossil Pokemon this generation look like abominations and should be put down again as they have more defects than pugs. But Arctovish has to be the most tragic. Though it's able to capture prey by freezing its surroundings, it has trouble eating the prey afterward because its mouth is on top of its head. You just put it there. There. Let me do it. The skin on its face is impervious to attack, but breathing difficulties made this Pokemon go extinct anyway. So not only did it suffer from starvation, but from suffocation too. I can't even fathom how because I revived this Pokemon and I now have to care for it full time. Where's my DLA? I just hope that while I'm giving it an oxygen mask and feeding it with a giant prize grabber claw, I'm not going to be changing any Arctic nappies either. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Petwar Ardeg! Eevee? But how? Oh yeah, this is Pokemon we're talking about. Gigantamax energy up the fluffiness of the fur around Eevee's neck. The fur will envelop a foe, capturing its body and captivating the mind. Just use charm like any other foe. Having gotten even friendlier and more innocent, Eevee tries to play with anyone around, only to end up crushing them with its immense body. I mean, I'm okay with my cats wanting to sleep on my head unless they suffocate me, but this is too much. It would not be good news. If Ash's Bayleaf, or autocorrect translated it to Baylia, was 20 times bigger and killed Ash, although that might be seen as a good thing by people who are still mad that Ash is still 10. I was going to make a point, but I kind of stepped all over it. Moving on. Triarvig! I'm going to say the S word for this one. No matter who you are, if you bring strong emotions near this Pokemon, it will silence you violently. You are a snowflake who wants to say you space. Other lyrics. Shut your whole ass up! Using the braids on its head, it pummels foes to get them to quiet down. One blow from those braids would knock out a professional boxer. Well, I'm gonna go introduce it to Piers Morgan. That guy loves getting punched. If you're too loud around it, you risk being torn apart by the claws on its tentacle. This Pokemon is also known as the Forest Witch. I'd say Piers Morgan again, but I might come off as psycho. Although it does support Arsenal, so that's all fair game. So this Pokemon just can't get the neighbor evicted. It'll just act like Sandy and SpongeBob. It'll tear you a new one. Doesn't sound pleasant in any way possible. Bayvik! So we already knew that Beware was freakishly strong, but how exactly?
Once it accepts you as a friend, it tries to show you its affection with a hug. Letting it do that is dangerous. It could easily shatter your bones.
I'm getting serious Lenny vibes from this one. And I bet you'll blame me for dying too. Why'd you let me have to break your back? The wind got my arms? And then I was lonely again. I mean, what's wrong with a simple high five that shatters my wrist? Or a fist bump and break. Chest trampoline. Well, as long as it can't get into my tent, I suppose I'll be fine. Inarveg! There's only one thing from this you need to know. It spits a liquid from his mouth to melt through Shelmet's shell. Carablast doesn't eat the shell. It eats only the contents. So, should we trade so we don't have to put up with this? This wasn't even mentioned in past games, and it just comes out of nowhere here. When you get Pokemon which drink body fluids, you can get some form of imagination from it. But here, you can vividly picture the suffering a particular Pokemon is going through. Nature is so cruel. Or damn nature, you scary, as people say. Dig! So this is familiar ground for me to get a kick out of. And this is why I love Pokemon lore. It just makes this stuff not judgeable by its cover.
If it finds bad children who don't listen to their parents, it will spirit them away, or so it's said.
I remember saying that before.
Making itself invisible, it silently sneaks up to prey. It has the ability to slip through thick walls.
Now, onto Dusclops.
Its body is entirely hollow. When it opens its mouth, it sucks everything in as if it were a black hole.
Say, ah!
It seeks drifting will-o'-the-wisps and sucks them into its empty body. What happens inside is a mystery.
If it's Navi, at least it can shut up now. Hello? Shut your bollock up!
At the bidding of transmissions from the spirit world, it steals people and Pokemon away. No one knows whether it has a will of its own.
No, it has the will to finish it off with a Shadow Punch!
With the mouth on its belly, Dusknoir swallows its target whole. The soul is the only thing eaten. Dusknoir disgorges the body before departing.
You know, you could have just asked me to give you the fillet. Where are your manners? So it's proven that Dusknoir is the most menacing and the most frightening. I mean, you're going to have your entire body have horrible things done to it in many different ways, possibly. And considering the soul lives on forever, this has to be a fate worse than death in my eyes. Actually, blind me, because I don't want to see this. No! I'm sure you know the fun fact that when a male and female mantis mate, the female eats the male's head off. So, with that said, take a guess why that applies to this. And no, it's not the sensual lovemaking.
They live in sunken ships or in holes in the seabed. When Golisopod and Graplock battle, the loser becomes the winner's meal.
So forget trial by combat or fighting to the death. Call it preparing your meal for later. Have a nice workout. Get some protein in you afterwards. One of these is Bear Grylls and the other is Gordon Ramsay. You're so f***ing raw, I get badly poisoned every turn. So if I was fighting a cannibal, I wouldn't really think about fighting fairly. I'd attack him with his own cleaver and then call the police afterwards. In this case though, Golisopod has the advantage because of emergency exit, so it wouldn't bother being eaten until a teammate comes in and gets killed. And Graplock can snack on a tasty muck. So nowhere to run, don't even bother with first impressions because it's not very effective. Oi! Hey kids, do you like tragic stories? Well, you'll love this one, it features you! Ooh, so enjoy! Its body is covered in sweet nectar, and the skin on its back is especially yummy. Children used to have it as a snack. But emotion. Yeah, I have some questions. So when they eat it, is it still alive? Do they carve the apple off its back? Do they cook it first? Do they ignore the cries of pain? Were they marketed as part of your 5 a day to ignore the fact that it must have had an awful end in a slaughterhouse? And can you still be vegan if you eat it? My friend wants to know. Safe! There's only a bit new with this entry in which I'd still feel it a bit wrong to rank this lower considering what it already gives us, so I don't know, just here's a refresher course, I guess.
After a lost child perished in the forest, the spirit possessed a tree stump. Causing the spirit's rebirth is this Pokemon.
Tree? I am no tree. I am a phantom.
Us Boy Scouts gotta stick together!
With a voice like a human child's, it cries out to lure adults deep into the forest, getting them lost among the trees.
So, not only is it the spirit of a human child, but it sounds like one too. Just think of all those fresh memories that you can have still rattling away in your spooked mind. And just wait until it evolves and it's like it's gained the bush through puberty.
He'll be on nobody's side, I tell you. Because nobody's on his side.
Quick! So let's go from nice to a bit tasty on this one. Oh, come on, it'll be fun.
The flame on his head keeps his body slightly warm. This Pokemon takes lost children by the hand to guide them to the spirit world.
Oh, so helpful. See, it's not so bad.
The younger the life this Pokemon absorbs, the brighter and eerier the flame on its head burns.
Helpful to itself?
In homes illuminated by chandelier instead of lights, funerals were a constant occurrence, or so it's said.
Now I know why everyone looks so miserable in Stoke-on-Trent. Sorry, Stoke-on-Trent.
I could have sworn my soul was fading away every time I walked into the job centre. I guess this is all Universal Credit can afford. But hey, at least if you've got a funeral and cremation has been requested, you got a money saver right there. Gotta love those life hacks.
So this is what I love about new forms in Pokemon. You get to cherish what you loved from the beginning when you had black feces on your face.
No colour correction in the world can save me.
So let's bring something new into it with Sword and Shield's latest Yamask evolution.
A powerful curse was woven into an ancient painting. After absorbing the spirit of a Yamask, the painting began to move, and it killed my pet snake Cornelius. Never touch a shadow-like body, or you'll be shown the horrific memories behind the picture carved into it.
You can turn the volume back up now. This makes me question what exactly the Yamask had happened to them when they were human. Did the wishing stars f*** them up really bad? Any medieval torture methods? Or maybe it was the perpetrator. It saw and caused many things as a Vlad the Impaler type figure. Probably too soon to point that out. One of the many mysteries we have yet to uncover. Edward!
Okay, brace yourself, because since X and Y, we have pretty much got a Pokedex entry covering every single size from Pumpkaboo and Gourgeist.
Help me. When taking spirits to the afterlife, small Pumpkaboo preferred the spirits of children to those of adults.
Careful celebrating Halloween in a children's ward.
Small Pumpkaboo is said to be the product of areas where few lost souls lingered. Spirits that wander this world are placed into Pumpkaboo's body. They're then moved on to the afterlife.
That's me. I'm your average Joe. The search can stop now.
The light that streams out from the holes in the pumpkin can hypnotize and control the people and Pokemon that see it.
Like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification bell, you bellends. That's not what we're supposed to say. Stop it.
When taking the spirits to the afterlife, large Pumpkaboo prefer the spirits of adults to those of children.
Yeah, I'd make a joke about sick adults too, but it really hurts my back in every time I make one. Back in my day, jokes were easier.
Large Pumpkaboo is said to be the product of areas where many lost souls lingered. Supersized Pumpkaboo are very partial to the spirits of people who are of similarly superior proportions.
Well, I mean, if this is considered plus size now, time to get Beachbody ready.
Massive Pumpkaboo is said to be the product of areas where a great number of lost souls lingered.
That was a lot. Gourgeist. Oh, no!
Small Gourgeist pretend to be children to fool adults. Anyone who falls for the act gets carried away to the hereafter. Vibo, we got him. How the ocean has drained us. Can I come up for air? Cause I am learning to live without. And I'm fighting with broken bones. A small-sized Pumpkaboo evolves into a small-sized Gourgeist. Its bodily proportions also get passed on to its descendants.
Get off the sugar!
Eerie cries emanate from his body in the dead of night. The sounds are said to be the wails of spirits who are suffering in the afterlife. My stomach is rumbling.
No, Satan, not again!
In the darkness of a new moon light, Gourgeist will come knocking.
I'm the one who knocks.
Whoever enters the door will be swept off to the afterlife. I'd rather this over the gentleman any day. At least Gourgeist doesn't have scalpels. Large Gourgeist put on the guise of adults, taking the hands of children to lead them into the afterlife. A large-sized Pumpkaboo evolves into a large-sized Gourgeist. Its bodily proportions also get passed on to its descendants.
How lovely!
Supersized Gourgeist aren't picky. They will forcefully drag anyone off to the afterlife. Supersized Pumpkaboo evolves into a supersized Gourgeist. Its bodily proportions also get passed on to its descendants.
Come on, Trump, where's your soul? We haven't got all day.
Not gonna lie though, this has been the best experience for me. Pumpkaboo isn't too picky and Gourgeist recovers the torch off of Pumpy Bumpy. Anyway, I mean, you're not gonna get much after that, otherwise I'll just exhaust myself. So there.
3! Question. Would you question me if I had a hamster in my mouth in front of a camera? Would you still love me?
This hungry Pokemon swallows Arrokuda whole. Occasionally, it makes a mistake and tries to swallow a Pokemon other than its preferred prey. Imagine it vomiting when it swallows a Trubbish, or the lack of a torso when it swallows a Slugma. Cramorant's gluttony led it to try to swallow an Arrokuda whole, which in turn led to Cramorant getting an Arrokuda stuck in its throat. Yo gal, where's that gag reflex? The slightest shock is sometimes enough to get this Pokemon to spit out the Arrokuda lodged in its throat.
Pikachu used to... Oh, that's unfortunate.
This Cramorant has accidentally gotten a Pikachu lodged in its gullet. Cramorant is choking a little, but it isn't really bothered. The half-swallowed Pikachu is so startled that it isn't struggling yet, but it's still looking for a chance to strike back.
Just thunderbolt it, you rat!
Stop being scared. I just woke up one day and I said I should stop being scared. But nice to know that the Pikachu is afraid. I mean, if I was ready to be digested and turned into too much information, then I'd see the light before my eyes. Especially if it swallows a lantern.
Die! We've talked about Frostlass in the past with its displays of affectionate vor, to put it in fancy terms. But now we get a new taste of what it likes to do in its spare time.
After a woman met her end on a snowy mountain, her regrets lingered on. From them, this Pokemon was born. Its favorite food is frozen souls.
Taking your problems out on the innocent lives of others. I'm pretty sure I've seen your undead Twitter account somewhere.
It spits out a cold air of nearly minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit to freeze its quarry. It brings frozen prey back to its lair and neatly lines them up.
Okay, Leatherface, save some popsicles for the rest of us.
They say things can be an acquired taste. Frostlass in this case did one bad deed once and now enjoys the pleasure of it. Whether she lives in an igloo or a mansion, doesn't matter. Any house is a home. And at least her freezing her soul stops her getting blood on the walls. You know, that's water-based paint. Oh, Frostlass, you're a moron.
Oh, Gengar, you and I go way back. That time you perved on me in the shower and laughed, for reasons I'm not ready to admit yet.
But as you may know, Sword and Shield had a bit more fuel to add to the fire. For 3 turns at least.
Rumor has it that its gigantic mouth leads not into its body, filled with curse energy, but instead directly into the afterlife.
Close shut the jaws of oblivion.
It lays traps, hoping to steal the lives of those it catches. If you stand in front of its mouth, you'll hear your loved one's voices calling out to you.
Go back! And come back with a PS5! Fuck you, I want an Xbox!
This must be the best way to get a biography written. Or ask Epstein what really happened. No, I don't love him. I just want Andrew to do me a favour.
In all seriousness though, and lowering the edginess, this is one of those instances where you get a swallow of sadness and gargantuan horror for 3 turns, until you anticipate when it's showing up again. So, following you in normal form, making you cry, keep summer safe, when it expands. I don't even know what its breath is like. Probably endless rotting.
So that's everything we've got for the round 5. I wanted to make it as big as possibly ever and come back with a bang and then go away again and then come back. But I want to kick off the new decade with a bang, and there's plenty more where that came from. So I am ecstatic. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to see more and hear more, then you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, not Tumblr anymore, Instagram. Everything's in the description, so go there and do what Pumpkaboo said earlier in the video. Actually, no, I never knew that happened. So thank you one and all, and until next time, lights out.
Ah, yeah, penguins.